I'm Sid Quitter. I'm the founder and CEO of NextMind.
So NextMind is here at CES 2020 demonstrating a very interesting product that is AI but also has a hardware component. What exactly does NextMind do? How would you describe the product to someone?
So we're a neurotech company, and we're basically building the first brain sensing wearable for real-time interactions.
And there's so many different possible applications for this. The demo that you have running today shows the ability to control a video, you got television, change the channel, do these little things. One mechanic I noticed is that there are these triangles, these green lines that you have to focus on. How are you monitoring it? It would be easy on the surface to look at this and say it's eye tracking, but how are you monitoring and processing the brain to understand that that's what I'm focusing on?
Yeah. Indeed, on the surface it looks like eye tracking, but the experience is totally different because here you have more control, more intent, basically, and we are decoding like what we call top-down visual attention, which means that whenever you're focalizing your attention on a specific element, we can know that you want to move that element, that you want to trigger an action, a command on that element. So that makes a totally different experience compared to eye tracking. So right now we are targeting mostly gaming and entertainment. So we created some games. We are also doing some applications in VR and AR, and a few IoT applications, as you might have seen. There's a lamp over there that you can turn on and off, change the color directly with your brain. So those are real objects. But basically what we are going to do is offer a hardware and software platform to anyone through a dev kit, and anyone is going to be able to build their own experiences. So we want people to actually, we don't have, the use case is not totally clear. We're going towards gaming and entertainment because we think that this is where it's very interesting in terms of experience. But we are basically relying also on developers with our dev kit to make their own applications and create their own new experiences of controlling things directly with their brains.
Talking about gaming, the demo that I played today was Duck Hunt, controlling it with my mind. You're able to already know the vernacular, the gameplay mechanics of video games, and you apply your input device to it. Can you talk about how you look at ways to improve user interface through this? Like there's so many different ways where ease of use becomes like a huge feature of your product.
Yeah. So I mean, you try the platform game, for instance, at the very end. So in the platform game, you can combine basically the brain-computer interface with a real gamepad. And this creates a totally new experience. So you can have people doing some stuff with a certain modality and doing some other stuff with their brain. So we're not exactly thinking about just using this product by itself, but also combining it. And it can be just an extra modality in gaming, in VR, in AR, combined with, say, eye tracking, gesture tracking. But it's really interesting in terms of experience because it gives you this symbiosis, this immersive experience of having a direct connection between your brain and the digital world. And that's especially the case in virtual reality, for instance, where not only you want to forget about the physical world for full immersion, but what if you can basically forget about your own physical body and be in full immersion, like the computations in your brain directly linked to the computations on the computer, in the VR world.
Talking about connectivity and the product itself, there are several sensors on the back of the device that make contact with your body. What kind of sensor tech is in this product, and how did you decide those specific locations on the back of the head?
Yeah, so those specific locations are actually optimized for machine learning over the visual cortex. That's one thing. And the second thing is that this is based on EEG, like a clinical EEG that you have at the hospital. Except that in order to increase the signal-to-noise ratio, we had to improve the material that we're using. So at this stage, basically, we're getting to the level where it's much better quality without having any gel, without having any wire. When you go to the hospital, you have all those wires, they have to put gel, and here you can use this system pretty quickly. The only thing you need is to get it in contact with your skull, and then the design factor is optimized for that.
And the dev kit is available to purchase now, or is it still in production?
So there's a pretty good wait list for pre-orders right now. We got a lot of traction. I'm very
Congratulations.
Thank you. And basically we're gonna start shipping by Q2, so in just a few months. So if you're interested in the product, it's gonna cost only $399, hardware, SDK, and basically you're gonna be able to build your own applications. For the moment, it's gonna be done with Unity, and it's gonna start shipping basically by April. But we already started shipping to some like dedicated potential partners and specific developers, some evaluation kits, and the full dev kit is coming in just a few months.
I think it's important to highlight that your product is going to work across a lot of different platforms where, yes, you have a demo where you're showing out a flat screen experience, but it's also a peripheral that could work in conjunction with a VR headset and add a whole other human interface device. Where else do you see it going? You know, one thing that I saw when I tried the device, I instantly thought about accessibility. Is that somewhere where you're talking to maybe folks in the accessibility space?
I mean, the strategy of NextMind is very simple. So we are focusing on entertainment and gaming because I think in terms of experience, it's quite amazing to have this new modality of direct brain commands. But of course, once we are advancing on that, I mean, it's a natural use is for people with disabilities. And we actually already have a collaboration with a hospital in Paris where they are using it not only for people who have quadriplegia, who cannot basically move their body, but also for locked-in syndrome. So they're using it to basically probe consciousness and attention in people who cannot interact with the world.
I think what's great about the product is that you're platform agnostic. You're handing people SDKs. You're like, go do something with this. It's not you're not limiting anything. You're not being proprietary. You're encouraging experimentation with the device.
Exactly. So we want basically, and that's why actually the price is pretty low for such a new high-level technology. It's going to be only $399, but we want to offer it to basically anyone, so that they basically change the world and create some new applications, new telepathic link between humans and technology. And
I guess the other question is, right now it requires a desktop PC. Is there a way down the road where you think this could be a mobile device too that could work with phones?
We're working on this.
Awesome.
And there's no limitation. It's just a question of time, to be absolutely fair with you.
It really feels like you've invented a new human interface device here.
Yeah. So I mean, neurotech has been a dream for quite a long time, maybe a half a century since this research started on brain-computer interfaces, and now we're getting to the level where for the first time you can have the experience of the real-time feedback loop. And this took some time, a lot of machine learning, a lot of hardware optimization, and this is just the right time right now because of all the miniaturization of the components and all the advances in AI-based algorithms, and basically converging all those advances allowed us to create this. But that's not enough. It's also because NextMind is a spin-off of a pretty good lab in neuroscience, and we have a pretty good understanding of what we call the cognitive components of the visual brain. So we understand pretty well how the brain works, pay attention, how you become conscious of things around you and generate intentions. And it's with this expertise that we could basically build this new interface.
It seems like it's a platform that can be built upon now. Are there other elements of mind tracking and brain tracking that you folks are working on or thinking about down the road? Or is this something where you had to focus the product first before you went completely crazy with it?
So we're already going crazy right now, but it's still in the office. It's not to show at CES. But of course, we're having our own technological use cases of things that are pretty crazy. But that's going to be for next year.
Awesome. And if someone's interested in buying a dev kit and working with you folks, partnering with you, where can they go to find out more information?
So they can go to our website, nextmind.com, and basically all the information is there. You really have to go to the waiting list and sign up, because I'm not even sure we're going to be able to ship enough this year. So basically it's going to start in Q2, and from there, we're going to see what happens.
What's a high quality problem that you have?
Sorry?
It's a high quality problem.
High quality problem, yeah. It's a rich man's problem, as we say in France.